and gentlemen, we have made some technical switches. We have swapped positions here, and just in time to see the qualifying results. It is Oblivion to Terrence to Sebi to Tudor to Ryan to Swith to Callie to Aben to Sebi, Angus, Fishlips, RJ, With My Teeth, Sick Party, Trio Kev, Vettel, Jux, Hado, and Salt from My Chips rounding out the grid. And actually a pretty tight spread too. It's about only 1.1 seconds separates the entire grid from P1 to P19. So that is very fun, and it's always good to see close gaps here, especially within Rush Racing League is always so competitive here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Expecting a lot of fun, expecting a lot of fireworks, and I'm expecting just so much to kick off here in this race. The drivers are going to go ahead and get their settings all set up, make sure that they have their front wing adjusted to their right specification, make sure they have the right amount of fuel, right amount of tires, and I think it's going to be a very good race here today. It is, once again, Ruckus alongside Jackal. We're going to go ahead and take you from start to finish here in this Qatar Grand Prix for Div 3. Any predictions from you, Jackal?
Yeah, I'm thinking that Oblivion's going to have a very good shot of winning this one, or possibly Aben. But we'll have to see how that goes. He did win last week, but he lost the win. So we'll see if he'll get that back, or if a similar situation will break out, or you never know. Maybe someone can go P20 to P1, and we'll both be shocked. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, indeed. And we're going to see those 5 red lights coming on. And it is lights out and away we go. And it's already drama at the start here. RJ has a drive-through for a jump start as drivers are jockeying for position here. And we're going to see how this one is all going to play out. Jackal apparently cosplaying as an Alpine for today.
I didn't. It just chucked me in a seat, even though I put spectating. The game doesn't like me anyway.
Anyways.
I immediately retired, so that won't affect anything.
Trio Kev and Terrence are both going through. Well, Jackal obviously had a DNF because he wasn't actually supposed to be in the race. That's the second time I've seen that. Callie's missing a whole tire, so it is a VSC to kick things off here. And Ryan has indeed left the session. Do you have him, Jackal?
I don't think so. I don't think I have Ryan. Because he was a late joiner, so he didn't add me. So if he can add me, that would be great.
I should be able to invite him.
All right. Yeah. Wow. So Callie's already left the session. Looks like that was a big accident on his end. Looks like Keith actually has an interview. So if you can possibly jump in the comms box.
Oh, sure enough, yeah.
You're already here.
Yeah.
All right, how you doing? How's your season been so far?
First race was good. The rest haven't been too good.
Haven't been too good. Refresh my memory on what the last 2 races for you look like.
Monaco, I was on for a podium. I got taken out. In Qatar, I just had no pace.
Yeah, wow. That's not very good luck, but I'm sure you'll bounce back in Singapore. How are you looking at going in Singapore? You done some practice?
Yeah, I feel alright. It's a nice track. I mean, I like Monaco. Singapore's pretty similar.
Oh, okay. Are you keen to tell everyone the times you're pulling, or you want to keep that a secret?
I'll keep that a secret. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't want to scare Campbell.
Yeah, fair enough. And what do you think about the other teams in the season so far?
Honestly, I've got no idea how constructors will go. There's a lot of strong teams, up and down the grid. I don't know much about the lower level drivers, but I do know a lot about the Div 1 teams, so pretty interesting. But we'll just have to see how the season plays out, really.
Yeah, fair enough. And what a season it's been. We had Mercedes on top, and then it jumped to Red Bull, and now it's anyone's game at the moment. Yeah. So we'll see. Any teams you think are gonna be the surprise top in coming to Singapore? Maybe that are gonna jump some positions.
Sauber, no bias.
Sauber? Okay. We'll see how that goes then.
I think Merck will be the worst.
The worst?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it.
Fair enough. Well, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, your team has done very very well so far, from what I can see, and yeah, that qualifying form is definitely strong for you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see if. Oh, yep, you go.
I was just gonna say thanks for the interview, guys.
Yeah,
No,
no
that's all right.
problem.
I was gonna see if Rekus had any questions for you.
Did you already ask him about Singapore? Because that's usually what I like to ask, considering that that's the next track. Well,
I did, yeah.
how did you find Qatar? Was Qatar a good track for you in your race?
I had a glitch at the start where the virtual safety car came out earlier for me.
Oh, that's weird.
So, like, I literally brake checked someone, and then 3 cars went past me because it was still green flag for them. And by then, I had a damaged car in front of me I had to get past, and then 2 other slower cars in front of me. By the time I got past both of them, the train's broken away with DRS, and you can't really catch back up after that, so... it's just a bit of bad luck, and no chance of a safety car at Qatar, really, so...
That's very unfortunate, but also sounds like one of the most EA things I have ever witnessed, so,
Yeah, I think it's a glitch this season where the lobby host gets safety cars before the rest of the thing because they've got the best internet on the grid or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, once again, thank you so much for popping on into the interview box, and best of luck next week in Singapore.
No worries. See you later, guys.
See you, bro.
All right,
and
so
wow, seen Trio Kev has just jumped Jukes, and he's about to be overtaken by the house driver, but couldn't get it done. And the Red Bull makes contact with the V carb. That is huge contact. Hopefully no underbody damage there for Salt from my chips, because that looked like he hit a side pod there.
Yeah, that definitely looked pretty dicey, as Hato on the soft tires is at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 1:24, so that is a very quick lap time for a very heavy car on the soft tires here on this track. We'll see these lap times obviously fall down as they use more and more fuel. So, as the drivers use more and more fuel, these cars will get lighter, they'll get quicker. Hopefully they'll get less penalties.
Yeah, it looks like Salt's just picked up the first one of the session from those track limits, which can be definitely frustrating around here because you just tiptoe over the line and you get a warning. And obviously it's very frustrating when you get them because you can't just remove a 3-second.
Yeah, you really can't. And the interesting penalty to me, and it's probably the most unfortunate one, is the one that happened to RJ earlier on, where he got a jump start and then got hit with a penalty. So we're seeing some positions swap around here. It is Swift taking that position from Aben, trying to put on a very good defense. The Aston and the Red Bull fighting it out tooth and nail, but just up the road we have a battle for the lead. It is Tudor against Oblivion. Oblivion got jumped pretty early on in the race start. He's going to see if he can get that position back. He's going to try to send it up the inside. Nope, he tucks back in, waits for a little bit, and then he's going to go ahead and maybe try to give it another go. Sector 2 is really probably the worst spot on this track to even think about taking an overtake. An interesting contrast between Division 3 and Division 6, granted there's a lot of tiers in between them, is that in Div 6, the eventual winner at this stage of the race was about a second and a half away from the race leader and trying to conserve those tires. I'm curious to see how Oblivion's strategy is going to come into this, because he's on the harder tire, so his tire can take more abuse than Tudor just up the road. But even Sebi is pretty much knocking on the door of these two cars, so if these two cars in front get into any kind of contact, this McLaren has a front row seat to go ahead and get into the lead here. So once again, anything can happen here.
Make the move on him, but no, he just decides that he did not have enough space. He decides that he won't go for the move. He can smell the McLaren just peeking right behind him. They're both about 3 and 4 tenths away from each other, as Tudor needs to pull out of the DRS range and get away from these guys. Otherwise, he's going to be dealing with this for the entire race. And obviously, we have Tudor on the mediums. and Oblivion on the hards. These hards I know can go to about 18, 19 laps if you're careful with them. So
Real quick,
it's
do you have Lamb added? Because he wasn't popping up on my end.
no, I don't. He didn't add me.
Alright, I'll have to try to find him. It's gonna take a moment, so I do apologize for any racing that is missed.
It's alright. I'll
Oh, I
let you know
forgot
if
his
there's
name
anything
thing
happening.
changed. I forgot. My apologies. There he is. So we've invited him back into the lobby. Apologies for that. I forgot he changed his name on our end.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that threw me off. Apologies, but anyways, back to the racing at hand. It's getting pretty spicy up here with this top three. And oh, what is going on here with Terrence and the Ferrari?
It looks like they came to blows a little bit with yeah, he's just getting back on, but that was the Ferrari of Ryan as he came back into the race. So it'll be interesting to figure out who was at fault, because it's in the rules, if your AI makes a move and it's dangerous, you will be penalized for it despite you not being in control of the car.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. As Oblivion did go in and make the jump over, so Oblivion did make the jump over two-door, as we did get Ryan back in. I'm still not used to seeing Lamb outside of a Williams. That is a bit of a stark contrast. But anyways, looking back at the racing action, two-door is going to go ahead.
He's got no front wing.
Yeah, I mean, that front wing was definitely non-existent. Kind of like their chances of winning the constructors in real life Formula 1, considering how dominant McLaren is in the IRL Formula 1. Still have a pretty good chance here though in Rush Racing League, but regardless, taking a look.
I like your enthusiasm.
I mean,
yeah, well, it's been an okay season so far, but it's only round 3, so we'll have to see how it goes when the overalls come out and build and work on it. But you know, the boys aren't doing too bad at the moment, P3 and P14, so we'll have to see what that equates to at the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that tends to go. Still very close up here at the top, and I know there's a lot of battles happening throughout the grid. While we're in this more technical section, or, well, this isn't the most technical part of the track, but still extremely hard to get an overtake here. We've seen overtake attempts into turn 4, but keyword is attempt. We're actually going to take a look at some of these other battles. And oh, there's a Ferrari of that's Ryan again. Yeah, Ryan going off there a bit. Those soft tires not exactly working too well on that Ferrari. Now we're going to take a look at a battle here between Swith and Aben. Two cars fighting for P4 and P5 at the moment, and then Sebi just directly behind there. It's potentially.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Don't think he'll make the move in Sector 2. Very tricky place to try and make a move. But he'll definitely have an opportunity on the straight, which is the best place for overtaking. Any other part of the track, I think, would be a bit optimistic and a bit dangerous. And you could risk taking each other out. So it'll be interesting to see where he does choose to make this overtake. As Aben is surprisingly a very large gap, I would say, to the McLaren of Sebi in front, with a 5.2 second gap between them. So he'll be desperate to try and close that as quick as possible.
Indeed, and we have gotten an onboard request to jump on board with Two Door Gaming. So we're going to go ahead and watch as he goes ahead and continues to try to attack Oblivion here. He's not exactly gaining, but once again, that dirty air is brutal on this circuit. So he's going to go and make his way through turn 4 and turn 5. Going to make his way into Sector 2, still trying to chase down Oblivion here. The gap is starting to kind of increase a bit, but as long as he stays within the DRS range, he'll still be in a good spot. He's actually out of DRS range now, just barely, but yeah, I think those medium tires are starting to kind of hit their fall off point in this Grand Prix. We've seen them average about lap 12 at most, usually earlier. Lap 10, 11 is usually the more likely pit time for these tires. So yeah, I mean, he's just losing 10th after 10th after 10th, and soon he's going to be under attack from Sebi, who isn't just too far behind. So he's going to make his way down into turn number 16, the final corner. Not within DRS range, but he is going to have to go ahead and try to defend from Sebi. And Sick Party gets a penalty for track limits, so that is the 4th penalty so far on this track. And that was the onboard lap with Tudor. He's back within DRS range now, but it just was too little
Looks like
too
there was
late.
some contact there at the back between Terrence and RJ, as it looked like Terrence might have just touched the back of him. It'd be interesting to see what actually happened there, because it looks like he's bumped him and RJ's gone off, but it looks like Terrence will be diving into the pits. So maybe he's got some damage from that and will have to pit, because lap 10 is very early for those hard tires.
Indeed, he did have some front wing end play damage, and RJ has actually left the session. So if you could invite him, that would be fantastic.
Yep. I've got him this time.
Yeah, hopefully we don't accidentally take as long as we did with Lamb, aka Ryan. Anyways, jumping up back to the front of the field. We are talking about one McLaren having to get back into the lobby. Another one's trying to make moves in the lobby. As Sebi is trying to get past Tudor Gaming here. He is in a better position, and Oblivion just pulling away now, who has been noted as the most dominant driver in Div 3 at the moment, is showing flashes of that brilliance again. Now he is 2.4 seconds ahead on those racing hard tires. Now Sebi is going to go ahead and get DRS. He's closing that gap bit by bit, but just not quite enough to actually take a look at the battery here. Still got about half his battery, so I think he's really just trying to close that gap and maybe trying to make a move soon. We're seeing a very good battle here between Aben and Swith. Swith is trying to go ahead and keep that position, but Aben knocking on that door like he's trying to sell him some Girl Scout cookies and try to get a pass done at the same time. But if these two come to blows, then Sebi is in a fantastic spot to go ahead and make this jump. He's got a very good view of the battle happening just right in front of him. And I think we're pretty much at that point where we're going to start seeing these medium runners consider making their pit stop. Now, I know there's a lot of factors when it comes to trying to make a pit stops. Rain is definitely not one of them that we're going to have to experience here today, but these medium tires are absolutely out there. What's ending, Sebi gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. That's going to hurt his chances of sticking a podium here. Him and Tudor probably going to have to pit here very soon. I'm sure those medium tires have definitely seen better days. And yep, Sebi is going to be one of the first drivers on the mediums to go ahead and make a pit stop. He's going to go ahead and come on into the pits. And what do you make of the race so far?
Yeah, it's been an interesting race. Obviously, Oblivion has just stretched his legs out front with a 3-second gap, which has given Aben a chance to sort of catch up. He didn't have the best qualifying, but Swith is right there with Aben. He will be looking to make that overtake very shortly. Just seen, obviously, Sebi pit. He will come out in front of RJ, who actually is not in the lobby. He had to restart his game because the game has kicked him. Looks like he's having some issues connecting to the servers. And Jux, who's very close to Angus, who does have a penalty. So if he just hangs on the back of him, he will jump a few spots because those three are very close to each other. So if he gets any closer, he can easily get 2 positions.
Indeed.
A fastest lap by Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence, who had that front wing damage earlier on. He's not in a great spot still. I mean, he's in P16, so he's outside of the points here. And he's about 14 seconds into a position where he can get points. But the curious one is Hato on those 10-lap-old soft tires now. In F1 24, you maybe could get away with 10-lap-old softs. This game, definitely not. The tire wear just is ramped up to 11 here in this game compared to the last one. So, I mean, I'm just surprised that he has not picked up any track limit penalties. And speaking of penalties, let's go ahead and check those out real quick. So it is 3 seconds for Sebi, for Sick Party, for Angus, and for Sebi. or 3 seconds for those drivers, and 6 seconds for Salt. Salt is the only driver that has more than 3 seconds worth of penalties here. Now Swith is pretty much right at the back of Aben, so we're going to see this battle happening again with Sebi just directly behind, but Sebi does have a 3-second time penalty here, so we'll see just how this battle unfolds. A bit of a snap there from the Red Bull of Swith there coming through, probably affected by the dirty air of that Aston Martin, and it doesn't help that that Aston Martin still has the older tires, so that's really not going to, actually no, they're all on the same tire duration. They're all, actually P1 through P10 are on those 12 lap old hards. You could probably get those to, I'd say, around lap 16, 17, around that ballpark.
For the hard tires, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, the hard tires will start giving up at about 16, 17, 18. Depends on how you take care of them, I'd say. But you know, if you were brave, you could take them all the way to lap 19. But you do risk a puncture at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you really gotta. I mean, as you know, you did a race here last night, so I know this is all very fresh in your memory. That some drivers really push those tires to their limits. It's actually pretty surprising, pleasantly surprising, I'll add, but surprising that we did not get a puncture of any kind. So that is, I mean, that's good, but still very surprising considering how tough this track is on tires. And I know in earlier iterations, I think in the current iterations, it's been more so fixed. But I think it was 2021 Qatar where the curbs would actually cause punctures because they're so sharp. Thankfully, that's not the case here, but I mean, it shows you just how the track has changed over the years.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be fun to get a puncture going over a curb, because the curbs in this, you definitely have to eat them pretty much, and risk the penalties, because it's worth it to risk the penalties just to get that extra time in, because if you play it too safe, you will lose a lot of lap time because there will be people pushing behind you. It looks like Fishlips has just gained another penalty, which will be his... Oh, it looks like his first penalty. For some reason I thought it was Angus or Salt, who has a 6 second already. But it looks like Swith will be going for that move on Aben soon, closing that gap, desperately trying to get to the back of him into turn 1 and turn 2. He will have to wait another lap to make the move done, unless he's brave and willing to make something happen a little bit earlier. Looks like With Me Teeth as well is looking to get past the Williams of Fishlips. We see a couple overtakes about to happen into the start-finish straight, but nothing happens just yet.
Indeed, as we were actually riding on board with the Salvers, Trio Kev goes ahead and joins the penalty party here. He just got a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. And we saw that a lot across the divisions, that track limit violations are aplenty here at the Losail circuit. And we're going to continue to see battles aplenty as Whiff is still trying to close that gap. Swith is trying to close that gap to Aben. There's just two really interesting battles building up here. We're going to jump over to the battle for P2 because this one's going to get really interesting. That gap is decently close. Ideally, you want to be in that 4/10 of a second range when you come out of the final corner. As Terrence gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. So now we're going to go ahead and see Swith has the DRS, going to go to fire it down the back straight. Is he going to be able to send it up the inside? He wants his move done before the pits. But yeah, like you said, he was too far back.
Too far back to make the move, and obviously you don't want to sell yourself too short with your ERS. As we see, Oblivion, 10.2 second gap and only getting bigger and bigger. He is really dominating here today, just like he did in Monaco. I'm just curious as your thoughts to this gap.
Oblivion is basically sending everybody else's chances of winning to Oblivion here at lap 16. I mean, here's the thing. He's on, I mean, granted, so is the rest of that top 8, but he's on the oldest hard tires on the grid, effectively. But the thing is that he's able to take care of these tires better than, say, Swith or Tudor was at the beginning of his stint, because he's just been in clear air this entire time. And we know how much dirty air does tend to affect the tires and the tire life and how much grip these tires can get. Oblivion, for a majority of this race, has just been in that clean air. So his tires have taken less of a beating compared to some of his other drivers on that same tire compound. So, I mean, I think it's really going to make it work. And we're going to see if Swift can make an overtake work. Sebi is going to go in and try the undercut on these two. He's coming into the pits. Going to go in and shed that hard tire.
Oh,
we
and
see
it looks
Swift.
like he's going to take the outside.
He's trying to get the outside.
Oh,
no, not quite.
And Trio Kev just picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is pretty easy to do if you lock the tires. You could just sail straight over the line without realizing it.
Yeah, I know. In the official Rush Racing League post about Qatar and kind of like a miniature track guide to Qatar, which go ahead and follow us on our socials if you haven't already. Instagram is at official Rush Racing. Go ahead and drop us a follow. That way you can see updates on which races are happening. Obviously, drop a follow here on the Twitch if you are brand new. And subscribe to our YouTube channel where this VOD will go ahead and be uploaded after the race. But yeah, according to the official track guide, the first thing it mentions is actually that pit lane penalty. So the pit lane is a very notorious one here at Qatar. According to that track guide, it is more notorious than the tire wear here, which if you looked at, I mean, that's really the first one I've actually seen on this track so far. Div 6 didn't have any speeding of the pit lane penalties, and this is the only one in Div 3, so, I mean...
Well, the interesting thing about Div 6 is I think a lot of the drivers in there and in the lower divisions have a lot of assists on it, especially the pit assist, which will just cut your speed, so you can slam it, I believe. I mean, I don't have any assists, so I don't fact check me on this, but I believe you can just send it straight into the pit lane and it will slow you right down for you.
Yes, that is true. As a matter of fact, I do remember that. And on to other things. Swift has went ahead and made the overtake down into turn 1. He's got it done finally. He's finally going to be heading. I think now, if you're Swift, I would honestly probably just try to pit and try to get the undercut, because at this point, Aben is probably going to likely to try to go for an undercut. He's like, all right, I lost the position. I'll just try to win this battle in the pits. And so he's probably going to come into the pits at the end of this lap. He's already losing almost a full second just in the first two sectors. So Aben's probably going to pit. Swift is probably going to pit. Sick Party maybe might pit. He might try to stick it out. He's got Sebi for company, though. Sebi is on those same tire compound, but a newer version of that same of the same tire. Same compound, but older. And noted that pit assists are turned off for Div 6. So
oh, well, that's comforting to note, at least. So I know no one will just be diving into the pits head first.
Yeah, going.
It's not like you can injure any of the. It's not like you can injure any of the pit crew, because obviously they're not real. So, yeah.
Just going 200 miles an hour, just sending it straight through, like, and then just get immediately
just like
stopped.
Sebi getting the overtake, and it looks like two-door as well, going through the inside, and it looks like Sick Party has just lost 2 positions in one turn. Oh, that won't feel good for the Williams driver there.
Yeah, no, but granted, he is on way older tires. He's one of the few drivers that are still yet to pit. The other drivers being Aben, Swift, and Oblivion, which Aben actually did get that position back, so Aben is back up into second place on the track. There's still some pit stops that are going to have to go ahead and happen here. Here's a battle for what could be a net P3 overall between Sebi and Tuador. This might decide the next 2 podium spots, because I don't think Aben and Swift are ahead by enough to go ahead and can keep those positions after they pit. Who is pitting though, and who's pretty likely to at least keep some kind of track position, is Oblivion. He's going to go ahead. He took it to lap 19. On lap 20, he came in for this medium compound. He's going to come back out, and Aben and Swift also going ahead and jumping into the pits. I mean, this is going to be, it's going to be interesting, considering how close the Sauber and the McLaren are going to be. And, easy. Actually, Sebi actually did jump into the lead of this race, but granted, he does have
a hard
that time
Yeah,
penalty.
he shouldn't have a hard time getting past him either. He's on brand new mediums. So, there's going to take maybe one lap to come in, and then he'll be able to blaze straight past him. And especially with that penalty, he wouldn't even need to. All he would need to do is get past for the sake of making sure that he's covered off from two-door and building up a nice enough gap that if he did, for whatever reason, cop a penalty, it wouldn't mean anything.
So something like that, or a weird version of the story, did actually happen in the North American division when we raced at Miami on Saturday. It was a driver who got a speeding in the pit lane penalty, and then pretty much just waited until he built enough of a gap where he could just make the pit stop, take the penalty, and still only be like 2 seconds behind the car ahead. So, I mean, that kind of strat works. Obviously, that's a bit more of an extreme example, but Tudor gets a penalty too.
Up his penalty, which will feel amazing for Sebi, because that means PST Sebi is also on a 3-second penalty, which evens it out. So essentially, the second and third positions are back to neutral ground.
Yeah, and they're going to be even more back to neutral as Oblivion, using those brand new medium tires, does jump back into the lead here at Qatar, looking to make it 3 for 3 here, just showing how dominant this driver has been. Now granted, he did get penalized and he didn't keep his win for Monaco, but on track he did dominate in Monaco. So once again, Oblivion is just, like I said earlier, just sending the rest of the field to Oblivion essentially, as he just also set a purple sector 1.
Aston Martin has made contact with RJ as RJ once again leaves the session. So yeah, it has not been a good race for him, because I think EA has a personal vendetta against him, because it did this to him last time in Monaco when it pitted for him for softs on the last lap. Ooh. So I think RJ has to have a word with EA, because he might be cursed.
Do you think that's something you could actually take up with customer support, that the servers kind of screwed you out of a league race? Do you think that's an applicable thing to actually take to EA's customer service and potentially get something out of it? I don't know what you get out of it, but
I don't think it's enough. Obviously, you're racing for fun. There's no guaranteed prize, so I think any net loss would be negligible. I think that EA would have such a backlog of complaints about the servers, and I think they go straight into the bin, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, that would check out too, because I mean, granted, EA servers have been kind of the bane of a lot of people's existence here. Just with this game in general, it seems like server issues seem to be quite prevalent, but then again, they've been prevalent pretty much every F1 game in recent memory. But yeah, I can just imagine the amount of complaints they would get if they could actually make a claim about a league race, not even the official F1 esports, but like something that's honestly more entertaining, like Rush, or a different league could just throw in so many complaints, and yeah, they probably just go straight to the bin, if they even went anywhere at all.
Yeah, I don't think EA is focusing too much on the servers. I think they're padding their pockets and getting ready to ditch the F1 game title. But that's a personal opinion.
Yeah, we'll see what the future of the F1 games hold. I am honestly personally really looking to the 2026 regulations. Just like Tudor here is looking very forward to trying to get a move done on the Sebi and try to reclaim that P2. And once again, it only took a handful of laps, but Oblivion's already 4 seconds up the road. As we're going to see Swift go, and I think he just tapped the racing bull of Sebi there just very lightly. Now, it's interesting to note is that Swift and Aben have both opted to jump onto the soft tire compound, same with Sick Party and Angus. So a lot of drivers have surprisingly opted for the soft tire. I mean, in my mind, the soft tire would not be optimal unless you put it in on like lap 25 or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Campbell. He's got me saying the name now. Oblivion adds the 4.5 second gap, which is more like a 7 or an 8 second gap with that 3 second penalty. So he's cruising. It wouldn't even matter at this point if he copped a 3 second. So once again, he's stretching his legs. He's I think he deserves to have the name Campbell Adams because he's definitely driving exactly like him.
He's been putting up some very strong performances here in Division number 3, so he's been doing the business, doing the work, and I mean, yeah, especially in this race, he just seems to be carrying Ferrari in general. I mean, they need this guy in Div 6 Ferrari, because Div 6 Ferrari has seen better days, but they did have a really good drive in Division 6 yesterday with Krojak actually moving up like 9 positions from like P17 to P9 or P8. So I mean, Ferrari did have a good drive, but the rest of their season in Div 6 has been, it's been rough for the Div 6 Tifosi. But I mean, Ferrari did start the season pretty. They started the season on fire because obviously Ferrari in Div 1 took the first race win of the entire season at Jeddah. And that's just kind of been up and down from there, but definitely not in Div 3. If anything, Div 3 has really been their strong point.
Yeah, and it looks like we have an onboard request for fish lips.
All right.
All right.
Ask and ye shall receive. So we're going to go ahead and do the rest of this lap, and then I'll send it over to you to take the next lap with fish lips.
It looks like it's also going to be coming up on Driver of the Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, so we gotta figure that out here soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at who's moved up. So, wow. Oh, interesting. So far my chips has moved up quite a bit here in this. We can go ahead and discuss further driver of the day. He's coming around the last corner, and Jackal, I'm passing this lap off to you.
Yep, so as we go down the long start-finish straight, drain that battery if you're trying to make an overtake. You can save a little bit of it if you don't think you're going to make the move, but it looks like he's going for the late dive on the Sauber down into turn 1. He's made the move. He's passed Whiff Matif as he goes into turn 2, and Whiff is trying to come back. He's not happy with that. He looks like he wants that position back, and yeah, they're very close to each other as they go into turn 4. Obviously, no move should be made into turn 4. I'm absolutely certain as he goes into turn 5, down into turn 6. And that's a very tight sort of hairpin. You can easily lose traction as you come out of that. As you go into the next turn, which is a very fast flick, down to 4th, hug the curb as much as possible to get a straight line speed. As you cut this corner, down hard braking, well, sort of hard braking, as you will move into sector 3, which is designated by the change in track color. It's a very quick sector that you can just take flat in 7. He goes down to 6. Obviously doesn't want to make any track limits. Keeps it in 6. Looks like he's not struggling that much for traction, but probably just wants to be a little bit on the safe side with that 3-second penalty. As we brake at the end, cut the corner hard, back down into turn 1, and oh, well, not turn 1, but he's definitely going towards turn 1. And that is the end of that lap, as Whiff is actually going to say, that was a good idea, let me try that on you. And he's through.
Yeah, so I mean, considering just the pace of both of these drivers, really, I can expect that this back and forth is going to happen pretty consistently. So now we have completed our onboard lap with Fish Lips. A very good lap indeed. Very good battle too for the first few corners throughout Sector 1. I mean, these guys were fighting tooth and nail brilliantly here. Now it is time for us to kind of go and discuss our driver of the day.
You know, for me, I'm thinking it's got to be Swith or even Sol for my chips, even though he has a lot of penalties. So maybe not Sol, but he did do a very good job jumping those positions. But I think Swith will be my driver of the day. He's had a very clean race, no penalties. He's running fourth. If he just gets to the back of Tudor, he will jump some positions, get on the podium. All he has to do is get within 3 seconds. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Swith.
I'm going to give it to Whiff, because Whiff has jumped up 6 positions with no pens. So, actually, you could say the same for Jux as well. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm actually kind of struggling because Whiff has had a fantastic drive, but so has Jux. So, very interesting here to see. I'm actually going to check something really quickly. Okay, so seeing if either one of them was a sub-in, but neither one is a sub-in, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna give it to Whiff.
Yeah, Whiff has had a fantastic race, and had some is having some good battles with Fish Lips, and as we see, Angus makes it past Jux, and we've only got a couple laps to go as Tudor gets another penalty, 6-second penalty, which will pretty much deny his podium position.
Yeah, that's not super duper great. Yeah, I'm sure some of these drivers are going to be feeling kind of frustrated due to track limit violations as we start the penultimate lap of this race. But just because they got penalties, it's not going to stop Tudor and Sebi from fighting tooth and nail for what could be a potential final podium spot, considering. But then again, Swith is still out of range actually to grab either of these positions. So I believe both these drivers will check the penalties again. Oh, Tudor has more penalties.
He's got 6 seconds of penalties, which means Swith just has to catch up a little bit and stay where he is, because he's got to drop 2 seconds even, and he'll get an easy podium. So Sebi will be feeling a bit relaxed. So, because I mean, easy podium loss when you hit another penalty like that. All Sebi has to do is keep it clean. Don't grab another penalty. Swith has to keep it clean. Don't grab a penalty. Easy game.
Indeed, yeah. It's gonna be. It'll be interesting to see how this entire field shakes up as we get ready to start the final lap of the race here. Lap 29 out of 29 for the dominant Ferrari man of Oblivion, sending everybody's chances or even hopes of winning a Grand Prix to Oblivion in this start of the season. He is 3 for 3, got penalized out of 1 win, but he won in Saudi Arabia at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. He won on track at Monte Carlo, and now at Losail, he's going to go ahead and take another dominant victory here. There's already been comments in chat saying he is in the wrong division, and after a performance like today, you could certainly argue that fact. He's only got about another half a lap to go, and Oblivion will take victory number 2 officially, and number 3 I think on track, because I believe he was actually the winner on track before penalties, and RJ getting more penalties. Actually, no, that's his first penalty, so he's up to 3 seconds of penalties. Quite a lot of penalties here on this track, but track limits are a major factor when it comes to just getting penalties on this track, because it's so wide. It's unlike the street circuits we've been to, and unlike the street circuit we're going to next week, but we'll come to next week when we get there. And right now we're going to see Oblivion get to the checkered flag first, about 9 seconds ahead of anyone else, and Oblivion wins the Qatar Grand Prix in a dominant fashion. After the first few laps, he already sailed off into the sunset as Sebi and Tudor go ahead and cross the line as well.
And Swith takes that podium position.
Yep.
Wow.
All right.
It looks like hopefully Sebi is staying where he is with that P2, which is a fantastic result from my boy Sebi. The first time I've actually interviewed one of my own drivers, so should be interesting. And as Whiff Mitif crosses the line doing some swerves there, it's been a fantastic race for him. Trio picks up another 10-second penalty for not serving his previous one. So yeah, that will definitely not help, as I think Angus will jump that position, and we'll see. And no, he doesn't. He was too far back. So that's interesting. As Jux does, actually. He jumps out. He says, yes, thank you. I'll take that spot. Salt for my chips crosses the line, stays where he is. Hato will be next to cross the line for Mercedes, who have not had a very good race. They've only got 2 points scored this race. Make that 3 points. As RJ's going to cross the line and spins it, which is interesting form. He's got 1 point. That was interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't much to say about that, to be honest.
And also something worth noting in chat that the Williams Redemption Week has been completed. Both drivers for Williams are in the top 10. So that is a good result from Williams. But what a drive from this driver right here. Oblivion just taking a picture of all the people that hoped had a chance of winning this race. Sent this up straight to Oblivion. I mean, what a drive that was. I mean, what a drive from all of these drivers, because all these drivers, absolutely fantastic. A beautiful race here in Division 3 as the celebration kicks on. We're going to go ahead and see. Fastest lap actually does go to Terrence, but I believe he was just outside of the point, so unfortunately, I don't think he'll be able to grab the point. But anyways, taking a look at our finishing results here. Oblivion dominating the race pretty much with no real contest here. And then it is Sebi, Swith, Aben, Tudor Gaming, Sebi, Whiff, Sick Party. And then we have Fish Lips and Jux rounding out the top 10. And then we have Trio Kev, Angus, Hato, Salt, and RJ rounding out the points. And then it is Terrence, Ryan, Vettel, Callie, and, well, yourself, Jackal. You and Callie were the only DNFs in this race.
Yeah, I don't know why. I selected Spectator, but it just put me in the race anyway, so I guess I was an Alpine driver for about 30 seconds, so I just would like to thank Terrence for having me on. No, but...
I think, I believe SJ is going to try to claim you as an Alpine driver now.
Oh, I hope so. No, my McLaren boys are too good. I love McLaren. Oh, but that was a fantastic race, and very well done to everyone who finished.
Yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic race here in Qatar as always. Let's go and get our top 3 drivers in for an interview, and I don't think we ever did like actual poll, so I know I said Whiff. Remind me again who you said for your pick for driver of the day?
I said Swith.
I don't think we ever got that poll for the poll for the driver of the day.
You might have to put one up now.
Yeah, I actually don't have those permissions. Apparently.
Neither do I. It's interesting. Maybe we can do a poll in the Rush Discord.
I mean, that's
something we're allowed to do.
I believe that is actually what the driver of the day poll is gonna have to be, because I don't even have permissions to text in there, because apparently Twitch decided to unverify my phone number apparently.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We
love when Twitch messes with people over like that.
We do have fun here at Rush Racing League. It is we do deal with tech difficulties every so often, but that's just part of the job. It's part of the experience. We had those tech issues early on in stream, and then dealing with stuff with Twitch. So anyways, let's go and get our top 3 in for interviews if you guys would be so inclined. But yeah, while we go ahead and wait, what are your thoughts about this race?
I mean, you can sum it up in one word, and that's Oblivion. I mean, he just left everyone behind. It's his second official win, and it would have been his third if he didn't have any penalties in Monaco. So, definitely showing everyone in Div 3 what someone with a higher division pace looks like. It'll be interesting to see what's been said about that. But yeah, he did a fantastic drive. He's an amazing driver. Kept it clean the entire race. And yeah, fantastic job for anyone who didn't get a penalty, because there were so many people who copped a penalty, and some that even went over 10 seconds. So I believe Whiff Metif didn't have any when he crossed the line. Have to fact check me on that. But fantastic job from him and Swith, who also managed to keep penalty free.
Um, so we did get a prediction for driver of the day between Swift and Whiff. So you know, we'll I guess if you would like to see your driver get driver of the day, you can spend your Rush Racing points. Oh, no, never mind. I believe that has been taken down. We haven't got any of our interviewees yet, so I guess
Yeah,
we.
we'll see. We'll see what's happening with those. So I'll actually DM them to see if they're coming. Because yeah, it's very interesting that we haven't had anyone. Who was in third place? Please remind me. Swift, correct?
Yep.
What's his Discord name?
I think it's just that. But we could probably get Oblivion in at least.
Yes, and Oblivion, there will be an interview, so please jump in when you are ready to be interviewed. And it looks like Sebi will sit this one out as he doesn't do comms, does not have a microphone.
That is unfortunate to say the least. Hopefully we'll get him in here at some point to go ahead and get an interview with us. We'd like to get his thoughts on just overall how the race went for him. But yeah, I mean it was pretty obvious. Oblivion just dominated that Grand Prix. But do you see his chances of domination continuing on into Singapore?
I do. I'll be very honest with you. I do think that he's had incredible form. I think he's a well-rounded driver, and I think he's going to take that. As I believe the man himself. Yes, that's correct. But yeah, I think he has the pace to really stretch his legs and show Div 3 who's the boss.
All right, so we are going to ask you a few questions, Oblivion. Once again, congratulations on the absolutely dominant win here at Qatar. How did you find the circuit?
Yeah, it was a pretty chill race. I wasn't expecting a two-door to come through, but yeah, it was not bad. Not much to say, really.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was a very dominant race from you from pretty much. I mean, you had two-door there at the beginning, but after that, you pretty much just kind of fired off into the distance. How did you keep those tires in so well? Because I think that was a really big contributing factor.
Well, by the time I pit, they were about 65%, so they weren't in the greatest condition, but just tried to keep the driving smooth, and that was it. Just used two-door at the start to try and get DRS and build a bit of a gap to the guys who weren't in that train, but after that, after I overtook him, the tyres were in pretty good condition to push on, so it wasn't the worst.
So I'm just gonna ask you one last question before I pass you over to Jackal, and I think this is probably gonna be one of the better ways that we can kind of decipher this. Between Swift and with Matif, who do you think should have got driver of the day?
I don't know where we've finished, so I'm gonna say Swift.
All right, it was worth a shot. But anyways, once again, congratulations, and I'll pass you over to Jackal.
Yeah, mate, congratulations on the win. Another win. This one, keep. You didn't have a very good time last race despite winning. After interviewing, you sounded like you had some choice words, but I think you'll be happy now that you've got a wing that you will keep. You had a very dominant qualifying, and going into this, were you pretty sure that you were going to be on?
Yeah, you're a bit laggy there, but I've kind of got a little bit of what you're saying. Yeah, I mean last week with that was a bit of drama, so it was a bit of heat of the moment stuff. Yeah, everyone thought I was going to get more penalties than I did, but they didn't actually see my onboard, so it wasn't really fair on what they were saying. As I said in the interview, I can get the McLaren one with RJ because that was 100%. Even though there was lag, it was my fault, and I took the penalty on that one. But the other ones were just ridiculous to be complaining about, and I think it was a fair verdict in the end that they were racing incidents. But yeah, today it was a bit more, put a bit more practice in this afternoon, more than I usually do, to try and put a statement that there's, I don't really want to be battling anyone on track, and that happened today. So, yeah, after last week, this was a better result. Obviously, you want to win, but yeah, I expect the whole season to be a close fight with a few drivers.
Yeah, fair enough. And what about Singapore? How are you practicing for Singapore? You think you're going well?
I haven't done any laps on that track in this game. Again, it's just going to be a recurring thing. I tend to just play co-op with my mate and on the off, and practice for about 30 minutes if I'm lucky for each race. So we'll see how we go when it comes to that time.
Yeah, fair enough. And is your team confident going into Singapore?
Again, I'm not really on to talk to them, so I can only see what I see in the Discord chat. But I think I think most of them are going to feel confident going into every race. We've got some good drivers and some good personalities, so yeah.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Congratulations from me on your very dominant win, one you'll definitely keep this time. And yeah, I hope you manage to get some practice in for Singapore.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
No worries. I think we've also got Swith in here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, how you
nice
doing,
to be
mate?
here again. Yeah.
Congratulations on P3. It was definitely one that you probably weren't expecting to get off the line, but with those penalties, you seem to have just found yourself sitting on the podium, a bit of a George Russell moment. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, just in the qualifying, it's hard to believe that my setup is super high downforce. So I only got like 19th in this straight. So it's hard to defend like Evan in behind and trying to hold my position. So it is quite a shock to get a P3 after the penalty. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you were my driver of the day. I think you ran a fantastic race and
Yeah,
a
I
very
just
clean
saw.
race.
Yeah, I just saw from the Red Bull chat, the voting has ended. Yeah, so I'm happy with that result, and if I get a driver of the day, I would be very happy about it.
Yeah, well, fantastic job on P3. I'm sure one that you weren't expecting to get, but yeah, well done again on another podium. I'll pass you over to Rekus.
All right. Well, a very good drive from you indeed here, Swith. You won last week in Monaco due to some penalties. How are you feeling about Singapore?
Singapore, I think I did the two evaluation race in Singapore and got a good result too. So yeah, I'm quite good confident in like race pace, but I will still try to gain some time in qualifying. Yeah, that's the point.
Indeed, yeah. So, yeah, that's all I have. Congratulations on the podium, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. So apparently we've actually, so Whiff actually did get classified as driver of the day, and so we have Whiff in the commentary booth. Whiff, how are you feeling, my friend?
Not bad, man. It was a pretty fun race, to be honest.
Indeed, yeah. So I mean, you made up a handful of positions. How did you do it?
Well, lap one, there was that little incident that caused a VSC. I think there were two guys just gone a little date into the gravel. Vettel tried to follow them through, so I just kind of went around him. I think I damaged Hader's wing in the process, but yeah, I was with avoiding Vettel. But yeah, made up a handful of positions there. Had a really nice fight with Angus lap one. And then, yeah, it was just sort of me, Fish Lips. Sebi was there for a bit, but he just drove away. But yeah, it was just me and Fish Lips for the rest of the race, really.
Awesome job. So it is Singapore next week, 100%. So how are you feeling around the streets of Singapore?
Well, I haven't done any practice recently. Obviously, we've just finished our race. But if the preseason was anything to go by, then it's looking like one of my better tracks. Um, but yeah, so was Qatar at the start of the game, and now it's not one of my favourites. So we'll have to see.
All right. Well, congratulations on driver of the day, and I will pass you over to Jackal.
Hey, how you
Cheers, mate.
doing? Congrats on driver of the day. It's been a very good season for Kick Sauber so far. Take me through your thoughts on the season so far, and specifically your team's performance in Qatar.
I'm personally really happy with it. I think it was Div 5 probably would have been our worst because Daz got that not so fair DSQ just locked up into the pits and again disqualified him. So yeah, not many points there, but all the other divs did really well. Yeah, it's just consistent points, not going for the bottom of the barrel, but yeah, pretty high up there.
Yeah, fair enough. You've had a few good wins this season and a lot of good results. What's the team attitude going into Singapore looking like?
Some of the guys have already done some practice. Yeah, there were guys putting in setups and asking the team if they want to do some practice. So pretty keen. But yeah, just gotta hope it goes all the way to their race.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, congratulations again on driver of the day, and yeah, I hope you get a good result and your team gets a good result in Singapore.
Cheers, mate. Up the kicks.
Well, the kicks are certainly pumped up for Singapore, it seems. So yeah, Singapore is a really tough circuit, but it is a certified Rush Racing League classic. I mean, it's always been cinema every time we have been there. I mean, I still remember those evaluation races were extremely fun to be a part of. But yeah, so that is gonna wrap up the stream here in Division number 3. Any final thoughts, Jackal?
Not from me. That was just an exciting race for some. Obviously, a very dominant race for others. And we'll see how everyone goes in Singapore, 100%. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how many safety cars we end up getting, how many cars we see going sideways, and we'll see if Div 6 remains the cleanest division.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one to see if that does if that trend continues on. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up here. Division 3, another one done and dusted in the book. So we'll be back next week for 100% around Singapore. Before we go, we do want to give a massive shout out to Sim Racing Center, Sim Lab, Pagnian, and of course AI369. And most importantly, you guys in the chat that have been here throughout the stream, who put up with the early tech issues that we happen to have. And overall, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. Once again, on behalf of Jackal, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Ruckus, and we've been your hosts and commentators throughout this Grand Prix, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.